Alô, boa tarde a todos. Meu nome é Alexandre Monteiro, sou o gerente comercial da COLORMIX. Eu gostaria de dar as boas-vindas a todos vocês e agradecer a presença nessa webinar da COLORMIX Especialidades em associação com a ABC, a Casa da Cosmetologia. Agradeço mais uma vez a ABC pela oportunidade e parceria na realização desses eventos ao longo desses últimos anos. O tema da webinar de hoje será a Color Trend Outono-Inverno com o senhor Rechinger. Esta webinar trará informações sobre as maiores tendências de cor para make-up e, além disso tudo, também os lançamentos da Eckart realizados em 2023. Lembrando a todos que esse evento vai estar disponível depois no canal do YouTube da ABC, então se alguém perder alguma parte ou quiser rever a apresentação, vai ficar disponível lá. E aproveito também essa oportunidade para que vocês se inscrevam nas nossas redes sociais da COLORMIX, pois assim vocês vão poder receber notificações, informações e novidades dos nossos eventos, dos nossos produtos. As perguntas e dúvidas, elas serão respondidas no final do evento, então, por favor, coloque sua pergunta no chat e eu vou passar a pergunta para o Micael. A gente agradece novamente a presença de todos e vamos dar sequência agora, deixo o palco para o Micael para que ele possa fazer a apresentação. Então, Micael, seja bem-vindo, boa apresentação.
Okay, good afternoon from Germany to Brazil. Yeah, it's always a pleasure for me to do the presentation of the color trends to my friends in Brazil. What we're going to do today is, as Alexandre said, the autumn-winter 2024-2025. So hopefully you can see my screen. Yeah, you see this is the green box. What you expect from us, as always, we show 3 different schemes for one season. Of course, I always have to let you know up front that we are, of course, a little bit, let's say, inspired by our seasons in the Northern Hemisphere, not so much in the South. Yeah, so when we talk about our autumn, it's more or less like your summer. So we have to be a little bit flexible, and sometimes we need a little bit of your imagination when we talk about the atmosphere where the ladies are in. So as you can see, the first scheme for 2024-2025, it is called Beautiful Days. Beautiful Days is a typical autumn concept, typical autumn colors in North America or Europe. You have to think about the leaves changing yellow, green, from green to yellow, red, different browns, all pretty strong colors. And this is what is Beautiful Days all about, strong autumn colors. And if you're familiar with our product portfolio, we have a group of pigments, it's only 3, that perfectly fit in this concept of these strong autumn colors. This is what you see, the Syncrystal Supernova series. Supernova means that these pigments are produced with a little bit different technology than our other pearls, and that results in 3 benefits. The pigments are more intense, the first one. The second one is they have a more metallic-like look. And the third property is they have a higher coverage than other pigments in the same particle size. So here you see the mood board. It gives you an impression how it looks in an autumn, let's say in Europe. Then I show you the first product that we present in Beautiful Days. It's a lip cream, and you see here on the slide, you see the cream, it's a red, but with a violet touch. The first pigment, and the key pigment here is what I just said, one of the supernovas, the supernova red. Really good red pigment based on iron oxide. And if we mix that with synchrystal blue, synchrystal blue is the interference pigment, white powder with a blue shimmer if you turn it like this in the light. And this combination results in these lavender violet shade. Then you see another ingredient here on the list of ingredients for that product. It's called Claytone VPVXR. This one is a rheological additive. The basic formulation of this product is done on isohexadecane, which is a low viscous emollient. And to transfer that into a cream, you need this high percentage 10 of that rheological modifier with the inky name quaternium 90 bentonite. So then we come to the eye area. For beautiful days, we thought liquid eyeshadows would be a nice option to create these wonderful deep colors that you see on the girl's eye, the golden one in there and the violet one around it. So two options. The first one, the main ingredient here is the supernova gold, a really neutral, very metallic gold pigment. But what we do is we mix it a little bit with our synchrystal soft black. Synchrystal soft black is also a key pigment in our portfolio. I don't know, I was recently in Brazil and we traveled to some customers. If some of you are among in the audience, soft black is the pigment that we only use to darken other pearlescent pigments to create deeper shades. It's perfect for that, not really useful for pure black colors. And synchrystal soft black does an excellent job in that, in mixtures with all other pearls in the synchrystal range. So that darkens here and gives a slight greenish touch to the pure supernova gold. The second shade is a violet. And also here we mix two pigments, synchrystal sapphire, a traditional blue pearl based on ferric ferrocyanide. And here again, we use a supernova pigment, the supernova red again. And violet shades are always a bit of a challenge. Typically, violet shades were created mixing a blue pearl with a pink pearl containing carmine. We have that, it's called our synchrystal scarlet. But this pigment is not vegan. And the current trend everywhere is to use vegan raw materials. So the way here, getting a violet without carmine is the best option. So supernova red and synchrystal sapphire mixed together, and you have a vibrant violet. And of course, you can change the shade by varying the ratio between those two pigments. Then you see another raw material here listed. It's called Purabric. Purabric R5510 is a rheological modifier. It's not a really new product because in the past it was called Optigel WX, but last year we had a relaunch because we changed the quality of the xanthan gum included in that product so that we can get a Cosmos approval. Cosmos, at least, is in Europe very, very important. This rheological modifier contains also bentonite. So the bentonite stabilizes the formulation so that the pigments do not settle, and at some time increases the viscosity. The formulation, of course, is water-based. Another water-based formulation, pretty much the same one, but here it's a liquid liner. It also contains supernova red, and we again use some crystal soft black in a similar way as with the golden one before to darken the color. And we use the liner mainly here under the girl's eye. So we have a pretty good fit, the gold, the violet eyeshadow, and then the brownish red eyeliner. The same pura in that formulation for stabilization purposes. Then nail polishes. Nail polish is always a very important category because we have so many pigments in our portfolio that are suitable, and some are even only dedicated for nail polish. Here you see the colors and the composition. I think it's always important to show the colors not only in the bottle, but also applied on the nail daisy. So we see this one, the third one, uses our Visionaire, bright splendid red 34 metallic pigment, and we mix it with supernova red and a little bit of absorption pigment to get more coverage. The second one is more or less from a pearl point of view, only supernova red and with a slight tint of red 34. And always, this is important, 5%, but it's of a 10% dispersion. So the real content of red 34 in the nail polish is only 0.5. The last shade contains two, I would say, special pigments from us. The first one, a supernova one, the supernova orange, also a very unique pigment in our portfolio. And we have another important product called Silver Dream L55 350. This is a metallic pigment, a so-called PVD pigment, so which is very close to a mirror effect, gives a good coverage and a good gloss. And it is in ethyl acetate, so only for nail polish. So a very nice collection of nail polishes. Then at the end, we show a glow product. Here we have a loose powder. Also, if you maybe remember the last trend color presentations that I did also when I was traveling, highlighters is very strong for Eckart too, because we have so many options for doing highlighters as loose powders, as creamy highlighters, pressed, liquid. So there's plenty of options and also plenty of pigments that we can use for that. This honey glow powder called Rays of Sunshine, of course, that perfectly fits to the sunset here in the woods. What we do here is we use Syncrystal Supernova Orange, a deep orange pearl, and we mix it with Syncrystal Sparkling Gold. This is a larger sized interference pigment, white powder, golden shimmer. And additionally, because it's a loose powder, we use Cinafil S1050. Cinafil S1050 is our standard filler based on synthetic mica. S1050, the particle size 10 to 50, means that is the most transparent one. Very important, because the more transparent the filler is, the more you see the effect from the pigments. And this product really gives a nice, strong glow on your skin. Yeah, what you see here, this is the total collection of Beautiful Days. I think all colors strong. My experience is that a lot of the Brazilians, they like strong colors. So I am very confident that this kind of concept also works in your country very well. Here we can show some more pictures that we have done during the photo shooting. And then we go to the next concept, which is more or less like totally different. This concept is called believe in yourself. I mean, in Europe, there's a lot of discussions going on about being self-confident, and this is part of this theme. And then also what you can see already in the title, you see green as a pretty dominant color. Green is the color of hope, harmony, stability, liveliness, and also has always a positive mood with that. You see it here already. The key pigment in that scheme is our brand new launch, Crystal Soft Ivory. This is what we launched at Cosmetics in Barcelona, end of March. So let's have some seconds to enjoy the mood board. I think, yeah, a combination with here, with liveliness, with strong makeup, what you see here, also here in the eye, and a bit of nature. The first product that we show in Believe in Yourself is a satiny lipstick. The color that we create is only done with the new Crystal Soft Ivory. Soft Ivory is just a smaller version of our traditional, long time known Crystal Ivory, the perfect product for highlighters. The Soft Ivory is a little bit more satiny. You can find claims like smart highlighting effects, smart illumination quite often, and that's very good. Crystal Ivory gives the illumination effect, but no sparkle. And it's mixed with Crystal Copper, and together it results in that color. Then you see another ingredient called Textural VSP. This is another rheological modifier in our portfolio, a so-called master gel. Master gel means it's ready to use, because typically if you have rheological modifiers in powder form, you have to do some grinding and activating steps, which can cost time, or you need a special equipment. The master gels, we do this all for you, and you can just use them in your formulation at any time of the process. This particular grade VSP is the one, it's the zirconium bentonite in D5 silicone, or cyclopentasilicon, however you want to call it. So one of the best running texture gels that we have. Silicone, pretty popular everywhere outside Europe, because in Europe, in the meantime, this raw material is banned. So it's also, this lipstick has a long-lasting effect because of the volatile silicone in there. Eyeshadows, yeah, you see the eyeshadows are also pretty strong. 3 different colors. Let's start with the first one, the pure green one. Here the key ingredient takes some crystal jade. I think this is also a pretty unique pigment in the Eckart portfolio, or overall, because it's a real green covering, vibrant green pigment. I would say none of our competitors has the same quality for green pearl. We need some support of absorption pigments, mixture blue 1, yellow 5. that gives also green, and another texture gel to stabilize the formulation and gives a good texture, CCT, caproic triglyceride abbreviation. So this is the emollient in the formulation. And of course, the texture is the same over all three shades. The second one, soft black again, remember, darkens other shade. Here, the turquoise is darkened. The last one, this is the light one that you see inside, that uses the Syncrystal soft ivory as a key ingredient. So non-sparkling, here you can see a little bit of sparkles also here, but not here. Soft ivory mixed with Syncrystal silver and green. The green is also important, otherwise it gets too light. And again, textural CCT. So the whole thing, creamy eyeshadow, but this one is not a long-lasting formulation. So another product for the eye area, we call it Eye Wow Pencil. And why do we call it Eye Wow Pencil? Because you can use it in different, let's say, options. As it is, it can be used for eyebrow. This is what we did. We applied it here on the girl's eyebrows. But of course, you can use the same color as an eyeshadow. And if you think about a different diameter, it also works very well as an eyeliner. Syncrystal almond, a brown and earth tone color, the second most successful Syncrystal in our portfolio, and again darkened with soft black. Nail polishes, again 4 different ones. Let's look at the 4 colors. The first one, that is really then a little bit different than the other 3, because what you see here, there's a pigment called Visionaire Bright Silver C, an aluminum pigment, the most important one in our portfolio. So non-transparent, good covering, slight sparkle, and that mixes very well with Syncrystal jade. That's the green pearl, and a little bit of absorption pigment, ferric ammonium, ferrocyanide, and yellow 5. This one is a little bit more sparkling than the others. This one, called Don't Worry, Syncrystal soft ivory, the new one with turquoise. You see how that the turquoise is typically really a deep turquoise color, but together with 0.3% titanium dioxide and the soft ivory, the color changes quite significantly. The typical green one, same jade, soft black, just darkens, transfer the color into a moss green finish. And the other one, Catch Your Dreams, also Syncrystal soft ivory, almond, and also very little jade. Also, my colleague said, very important to achieve that color. Here we have the look, how it is applied. More difficult to see on a photo than in reality. But this one is the one that looks really different with the Visionaire Bright Silver C. And of course, as with the other concept, we have another luminizing product in Believe in Yourself. The only difference is for Believe in Yourself, for that glow powder, it was larger particles. Here, as the whole concept is more decent, more natural looking, soft ivory. Syncrystal red, also important in that formulation, even if it's colorless, only with that red shimmer. So depending on the light, you see this very well. And our filler, Cinefill S1050 again. The whole product is a mousse texture. This is why we have 2 other rheological modifiers in there. Texture gel, again a master gel. DMC, this is the abbreviation for dimethicone, which is an alternative to what we showed in the beginning, to the VSP D5 silicone. So the dimethicone, for example, is used in Europe as we cannot use the cyclone pentasiloxane. It's just another option. The makeup result, the skin feel is more or less the same. Additional powder, this is just to avoid oil oxidation at higher temperatures. You have to imagine the formulation is a mousse. If you put it on stability, or if you think about your country where you have really warm or hot areas, you would see the oil leaking a little bit. Then in the formulation, this is absorbed by Clayton VPV XR. So that's one. So more pictures here. I would say it's extremely good visible. The eyebrow, also we did the eyeshadows in a very special way. The natural satiny lipstick. So everything is really good visible, works very well together. Of course, typically you don't use all the nail polishes at the same time, but maybe you stay with one or you mix just two colors. Here the collection of Believe in Yourself. So, and then we come to the last one, Better Together. And of course, it's always a little bit tricky to bring the feeling to Brazil because this is the winter concept and we think about always snow, cold temperature, below 0 degrees. Yeah, an atmosphere that you probably have maybe in the south of Brazil, but in most parts of your country, nothing is there. And of course, the feeling also say better together. It's about that, a little bit that everything that you experience is always nicer if you're with a friend or with your family than being alone. And then you see here already written, also we have some key ingredients in there. First of all, we use quite often Syncrystal Rose Opal. That is the launch of 2022 at In-Cosmetics in Paris. And I showed this also at In-Cosmetics São Paulo last year. Rose Opal is a pigment with, let's say, a rose bulk color, but a blue shimmer that strongly depends on the skin tone. Pale skin, light blue. If you come to darker skin, you see the bluish effect more. So this is really always interesting in Brazil because you have all these skin tones from white to black. And that makes the thing very interesting. Another product is Mirage Holo Magic. When we're not talking about Mirage, Mirage is the borosilicate, so sparkle is the main property, and Holo Magic is kind of holographic effect that is mostly visible in lip and eye products, sometimes also in nail. And the so-called Syncrystal Soft family, just to remind you what soft means. Soft is always the particle size 1 to 15 microns. And the characteristics of the softs are illumination, shine, satin effect, no good coverage, and no sparkle. So let's go into the product formulations. First, of course, you see that they are better together. You see there's always here friends, also a couple of girls. Then here you see the family. Then what is typical, of course, here in winter, we have the fireplace. We have candles all over the place. And here you see a very nice winter day with a lot of snow. So this is what it's all about. First formulation, again, a lipstick. It can also be used as a highlighter, so dual effect. Soft copper, soft black, this together gives the color. And then Mirage Holo Magic, different shimmer if you apply it and have, let's say, changing light. If you wear it, then you see the different multicolor sparkles. The basic formulation is a traditional creamy texture based on oils and waxes. See here again, texture, CCT, capillary capillary, etc. Another lip product, a lip gloss called Glisten and Glow. Crystal almond, and this time mixed with Crystal rose opal. So also here, you see the bluish effect depending on the light coming from the rose opal. If you have it right in front of you. This is a volatile, long-lasting formulation. You see the rheological modifier, dimethicone based. Again. For better together, we work with pressed powders as eyeshadows. Also here, I only can repeat what I've been telling the last few years. We use our very successful formulation without talc. Instead of talc, we work with Cinephil S1050, the transparency, so we get the full effect from any kind of pigment that we use in these formulations. The first one, combination of rose opal and soft black. The second one, and you see a significant change of color. Although we add only one pigment, we still have rose opal, we still have soft black, but we add soft peach. Soft peach is more or less like a skin tone pearl. Notice that you see this here very strong. This is more like this the color comes from the soft peach. We have a third one in Better Together, which is also not spectacular in the combination of pigments. Some crystal sapphire, straight bright blue pearl with soft black darkened to achieve that color. Same formulation, Cinephil S. This one here, the clay tone is here more or less like an adsorbent, not as a rheological modifier. It creates a better adhesion to the skin. What you see also here, where we apply the products, darker blue is outside, then comes the lighter blue, the other application, and the one, let's say, created by soft peach is applied closer to the girl's nose. Nail polishes again. Already in the bottle, you see the effect of this rose opal. You can see the blue shimmer. Yeah, you see the blue shimmer. And here is a little bit less visible. Here we see them all together with the formulations and also the atmosphere. So my colleague gave the application names: Coffee Date, you'll see the 4 girls again, Friendship Trail, a trip that is, they are for a hiking tour, and Candlelight Night. You see the candles burning right before Christmas. Rose opal in all 3 formulations. The first one, sapphire, soft copper, that results in more like also violet. The rose opal gives the blue shimmer here. Here, soft bronze, rose opal, and soft bronze together with the ferric ammonium ferrocyanide, which is a blue pigment that gives maybe surprisingly a brown tone. And Candlelight Night, rose opal, a little bit of fire red, very different, and Hollow Magic, the holographic pigment. I think we have a picture also here. When it's applied on the nail, because then it looks a little bit different. Also this one is this one, the brown one, and the pink one is this one. Of course, this one is the most transparent color because we want to see the Hollow Magic strongly, and the rose opal also is not a really covering pigment. And some crystal fire red is only 0.5%. Yeah, this is the end already. Also, you can see the rose opal very well in the bottle, maybe stronger than in the other pictures here and here. So this is the collection of Better Together. The last concept. Some more pictures of the 2 girls. This is how the box looks like. I'll also show a little bit, maybe at the end, I want to explain you how we work. This is more behind the scenes. So important for me to know, this is the key lady, my colleague Andrea. She's really the creative person behind those colors. And she does an excellent job all the time, because you cannot imagine how difficult it is to find the combination of all these colors. She has never seen, when she develops the colors put on a girl at the same time, and she never knows what kind of model would we get. So that really needs a long experience, creativity, and yeah, a lot of imagination. This is our makeup artist that we have been using 4 times in the last 5 seasons for assistance. This is how it works. And yeah, I'm typically the one that watches the makeup, because yeah, I'm the one that corrected the makeup a little bit, because I need to explain the formulations, the look to you. This is why sometimes I interfere how they put the makeup on. Okay, currently, because I think that was the last slide. Currently, we have finished already the next trend color season. I don't know when we have the photo shooting, but I'm pretty confident that I will come, of course, with this box, but hopefully also with the next colors, maybe without a box, to In Cosmetics in Sao Paulo in September. And of course, it would be great if you come to the COLORMIX booth to look at the brand new colors then. So then I can say thank you very much to all of you for listening to the presentation. As I said in the beginning, it's always for me an honor and a pleasure to do the trend color presentation to customers, distributors in Brazil. Thank you very much.
Ok, muito obrigado, Micael, por mais essa aula aí sobre as tendências de cores. E agora, pessoal, como eu falei no início, fica aberto para as perguntas, né? Quem quiser fazer alguma pergunta, pode colocar no chat aqui, que eu vou passando para o Micael. Micael, a gente já tem algumas perguntas aqui, que eu captei ao longo da apresentação. Uma delas é: você poderia falar um pouco sobre a diferença entre uma mica normal e uma mica de interferência? Quais são as principais diferenças?
Okay. Yeah, when I talk, I'm sorry that it's my daily business that I talk about those pigments. When I talk about interference pigments, then because now I hear you talking Portuguese as well. So, okay, let me just continue. Interference. These are the pigments that have a white, look like a white powder, and you see there's only a little bit of shimmer. Yeah. So they are all based on synthetic mica, the zinc crystals, or borosilicates, the mirages. And they have the shimmer only in an angle, but the bulk color is white or transparent. If I talk about the other pigments like zinc crystal copper, like zinc crystal jade, the green one, they have really a color. I'm just looking if I have an example here, but unfortunately, I'm really sorry that I have my pigment box in my car. Maybe I found one or the other to show you that, because it's important. Just a second. Yeah, we can see that. For example, I don't know if you look at the camera, I don't know if it's visible. This is an interference pigment. This is zinc crystal red. Difficult to see, is white, but the shimmer is red. The same is, this is zinc crystal green, also white, the shimmer is red. The other pigments are then like, for example, this is supernova gold, a real golden one. Supernova orange, a real orange one, or that is the zinc crystal jade. So that brings really color. Also, I mentioned that zinc crystal almond, yeah, Interference is always, when I talk about interference, these are the white pigments that create the shimmer in different colors depending on the angle. And interference, I think, is very important. I was a formulator before I joined Eckart. My pigment knowledge at that time was not very high because nobody came, none of the producers, to explain me how to combine. So we underestimated the power of the interference pigments, because I think color is one thing. You can create color with regular non-pearls, also with pearls like these. But the key to the right effect for me is the addition of 1 or 2 interference pigments. That makes the difference, in my opinion. Does that answer your question?
Muito obrigado, Michael. Mais uma pergunta aqui.
Good.
Haveriam agentes de suspensão de micas e borosilicatos para esmalte?
Yeah, in the presentation, there was quite often the word or the name clay tone. The ones that we use here in our product is not is similar, but it's not exactly the same that is used in nail polish. Because in nail polish, we sell huge amounts of a product called clay tone MPC, so Z V. That is the rheological additive that goes to companies like Fiabila, like international lacquers, like Kirker, in big amounts, the ones that produce the basis for the nail polish. And of course, in our, when we talk about our nail polish products, we get the basis from our customers to do these colors. This is why there's not the rheological modifier or the suspending agent, however you want to call it, why it's not listed. But it's important when we talk about nail polish that that these clay tones are not only there as a pure suspending agent, because the suspending agent typically it says the pigments do not settle. That is one thing, one important thing for nail polish. In my opinion, the more important thing is that these rheological additives create the thixotropic effect. That means the you as a nail polish producer, or if you source the nail polish from somebody else, the nail polish has to have the right viscosity, the right rheological profile. So if you apply it on your nail, that it cannot be too liquid, otherwise the product will run down your nail and will stain your finger and it fails. The other thing is the rheology cannot come back too fast. Otherwise, you would see the flow lines on your nail. The nail polish is very well balanced with the thixotropic effect, that the viscosity is like this. You level out, how can I say, the application. You don't see the flow lines of the brush, but it is not too liquid so that it stays on your nail. So this is very important. And the product that we typically sell for that is clay tone MPCV.
Muito obrigado, Michael. Mais uma questão. Linhas Syncrystal e Mirage são elegíveis para certificação EcoCert e Cosmos?
Yes and no. So we have already for Mirage, the line of the borosilicates. We have the Cosmos certificate for all Mirages besides the so-called dazzling particle size. That is the very big one. All other, but exotic, all other Mirages have a Cosmos approval. We have a certificate for that. EcoCert is not possible because our Mirage line as well as the Zinc Crystal line contains tin oxide. And for whatever reason, EcoCert does not allow tin oxide. Cosmos 4 Zinc Crystal. We did not get Cosmos 4 Zinc Crystal, but with no, let's say, detailed explanation. When we got the Mirage, I said, okay, Zinc Crystal. Then they said, Zinc Crystal, no. We asked why. They said, yeah, because it contains fluoride. This is true. The inky is synthetic fluorofluorocarbide. But when I said, what is the problem? No answer. Sometimes with the eco labels, it's very difficult. So Mirage, Cosmos. But what I can tell you, in Europe, in the meantime, many customers work according, when it comes to naturality, work with the so-called ISO 16128. And here we can say that our products, Mirage, Visionaire, so the metallic pigments, and Zinc Crystal, they have a so-called, or they belong to the group of derived mineral ingredients, and they have a natural origin index of 100%. So you can use them in natural cosmetics. We also, there's another eco label in Germany called Not True. We cannot certify our products for this kind of cosmetics, but they can be used. They only have to watch then a certain, cannot come over a certain percentage.
Muito obrigado, Michael. Temos aqui a última pergunta, que é: borosilicatos podem ser usados em maquiagens na região dos olhos, sombras, exemplos, delineadores?
So this is a very good question, of course. Yes, but here we work according to, let's say, a principle or particle size. Definitely, we recommend to use the borosilicates in the particle size. Ours is called Mirage Glamour. Glamour is a particle size up to 150 microns. We have it in silver, in gold, in red, in blue, and in green. The most important and the most popular line. And of course, eyeshadows are the most important category, because if we look at the use of borosilicates, then let's see, we start with toiletries, shampoos, liquid soaps, body washes, 0.1%. Body mist, so spray, perfume spray, 0.2. Lip products, 3%, 5%. Wow, very rarely that it's higher. But eyeshadows, when we look at the Italian producers, which are the specialists in eyeshadows, we have customers that use up to 40% of borosilicates in eyeshadows. Yeah, so it's a very important category. Up to 150 microns, you can use them everywhere. Then we have two new products in a line that is called Mirage Twinkling. They are larger. So the so-called D50 value, you always have a particle size distribution, is at 190 microns. So larger than Glamour, but a very nice effect. And here I clearly say, loose powder eyeshadows, no. Creamy, I would say yes, because if the formulation is like you have the particles in a matrix, you can use them. Pressed powders, I would really differentiate, say, okay, how big is the risk that a Mirage Twinkling goes into the eyes? If it's not, liners I would exclude, larger than Mirage Glamour, because eyeliners are too, or Kajal pencils, they are too close to the eye. But if you have a good creamy texture, I think there's nothing against that. Yeah, but and additionally, from a regulatory point of view, they are allowed everywhere. It is just let's say what we say concerning the safety. So I can say 100% yes for Mirage Glamour, which is, by the way, in my opinion, the best product or the best borosilicates on the market. For twinkling, larger, also the eyes are the biggest market. You have to see what kind of formulation you have. Loose powder, as I said, no, I would not recommend it then. Does that answer the question?
Sim, muito obrigado, Michael. Mais uma pergunta.
Great.
A solubilização desses pigmentos em formulações aquosas ou oleosas pode se apresentar diferenciadas. Há algum agente dispersor ou solubilizante que se possa utilizar para auxiliar esses pigmentos a ficarem mais homogeneizados em diferentes tipos de aplicação? Ou seja, né, para os mesmos pigmentos não ficarem em suspensão dentro das formulações?
Alexandre, it was all important.
Yeah. Deixa
no problem. Then we need to do it again because Alexandre, I could not understand him.
Sim. Eu vou falar em português. Eu vou falar novamente aqui. Vamos ver. A solubilização dos pigmentos em formulações aquosas ou oleosas pode se apresentar diferenciadas. Há algum agente dispersor ou solubilizante que se possa utilizar para auxiliar esses pigmentos a ficarem melhor homogeneizados dentro das diferentes formulações?
Well, typically, my experience is when we talk about pearlescent pigments, that we do not see really issues in suspending or dispersing the pigments in water-based formulations on one side and oily or waxy formulations on the other side. So here, typically, we don't see any real issue. What we have observed is maybe if you have a formulation like a water in silicone emulsion, that the zinc crystal soft line, but only the smallest one, disperse a little bit more difficult than the others. But with regular pearls, and regular pearls means particle size 10 to 50 microns or larger, we have not observed in all of our formulations that we have ever done that there is an issue with the dispersion. Yeah? So I think normally you don't need any surface treatment for pearls. What we have observed is the 4 colored ones. Yeah, this is like the blue, the red with the carmine, and the turquoise. Those sometimes show a little bit of bleeding in the water phase, which what they don't do in the oil phase. But regarding compatibility and bringing in the formulation, we have no issue. This is why I cannot really help you, because if we don't have an issue, we don't need to find a solution.
Well, Michael,
if the customer that was asking that needs really help, and then probably I would need then more details about the formulation. But our experiences, as I said, no problem normally, absolutely no problem.
Obrigado, Michael. Eu já passei o nosso contato de e-mail para todos que precisam de mais informação ou se precisam de mais detalhes. Tem aqui no chat um contato de e-mail também para vocês poderem passar, tá? Acabou as perguntas. Michael, alguma mensagem final?
Good. So, anything else, or are we?
Não, a gente já acabou,
Great.
Micael. Agora, uma mensagem, se você quer se despedir, fica à vontade.
Okay. Thank you. Goodbye to everyone. Obrigado.
Ok, pessoal, eu queria agradecer mais uma vez ao Micael por essa mais uma aula aí, sempre é tarde na Alemanha, então te agradeço, Micael, muito obrigado por você ter nos dado essa apresentação. Agradeço a todos que participaram e também a todo o pessoal da ABC, a Cida, sempre com essa tradução muito boa que ela faz. Então, agradeço a todos aí por mais essa webinar. Ficamos à disposição. Quem quiser mais detalhes, entre em contato com a gente aqui na ColorMix, tá bom? Muito obrigado a todos, boa tarde, boa noite, Micael, e muito obrigado.